Yo, what's up, guys? I'm gonna be reviewing and kind of just like giving my first take on some new cards that just kind of got revealed. These cards are coming out in our Pitch Black set, which should be releasing in like July. It'll be our World set, the set that will be first legal at the World Championships in 2026. It's pretty exciting. Pitch Black doesn't look like it's gonna be a massive set, but there are. I mean, some of these cards look like they could make a bit of an impact on the format. Maybe not right away, but these cards actually, a lot of them look really good, especially, I mean, these are all fossil related cards, and I think they're going to be really good. So, hype the video, subscribe if you enjoy or whatever. I don't know. Let's just start. So up first we have this Relicanth card, and it's actually like just not that bad. It has an attack fossil beatdown for 1 colorless energy, 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each of your bench Pokemon that have Antique in their name. So Antique is basically just the word that's in like all of the fossil cards. Like if I go to Limitless real quick and go to search Antique, as you can see, it's just all the fossils that have Antique in their name. A lot of these did rotate because like the Aerodactyl, Omastar, Kabutops, these all rotated with 151 rotating last month. So there are a ton of actually pretty good fossils here though. The Tortuga is the main one that this fossil, the Tortuga that it evolves into, has an attack that does 30 damage for each item card in the opponent's discard pile, which is extremely strong. I can pull that up, I think, on another tab here. Tortuga. Search that. Yeah, this Tortuga is really, really strong. 30 damage for each item in the opponent's discard pile. It's like Trashlandish Garbodor we had in the past. This card, I think, gets a lot better. Not just because Relicanth is just like your early game attacker, really. 1 colorless, it could be any energy. You can get it going for 1 energy. You can use this on turn 1. And does 30 more damage for each bench Pokemon you have with Antique in their name. That's just strong because the Stadium card, this is the big card that got revealed here. The Fossil Excavation site. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for up to 2 trainer cards that have Antique in their name and put them onto their bench, then shuffle their deck. Oh my god, dude, fossil Pokemon are like so back. Like, this reminds me of like when Pokemon Research Lab was released. Research. This was like the best fossil support card we've probably ever had. During each player's turn, they can search their deck for 2 Pokemon that evolve from unidentified fossil and put them onto their bench, then their turn ends. This is basically like a version of that effect where your turn doesn't end, but you only get the basic, meaning like it's better in the sense that it's better on like your first turn because you can just use this like whenever you want, and you can still attack with something like the Relicanth, which we now have access to. But also Research Lab was really good because it basically let you on the next turn instantly evolve into your stage 2 fossils. Like, I think it mainly saw play in, like, Rampardos decks. Like, this Rampardos, like, it just O-code all basic Pokemon. It one-shot, like, Zoroark and stuff. Like, I think this is mainly what Research Lab was used for. Aerodactyl GX is a pretty decent card, too, like, with the GX attack and the ability. But, it was, like, Research Lab was, like, so massive for fossils. And this is, in some ways, better than Research Lab. It's worse in the sense that, yes, you need to, you need to, like, then evolve twice in order to get stage 2s up, or you need to play Rare Candy, which makes your deck a little clunky. But it's better in the sense that you can use the effect after, like, let's say you Lily for 8, draw into this and a few more fossils. You can bench those fossils, put this into play, get a few more, and then Relicanth right there is swinging for like at least 130 damage. Like, you could do like 160 damage turn 1 with this easily. This Relicanth with the Stadium is actually just really good in the early game. Like, I don't see a reason like this is bad at all. And because fossils, you cannot start a fossil. These are trainer cards that you have to bench from your hand. They have to go into your bench. You cannot start it. Meaning, you need basic Pokemon in your deck that you should start in case, like, I mean, obviously you need basic Pokemon in your deck for that purpose. So I have a few suggestions, or not suggestions, but kind of like ideas, like initial ideas that I'll throw out after I'm done with this. But I think the Relicanth super strong. The Stadium, absolutely. If fossils ever see play, this is like an instant 4 of. Like, this card is fantastic. We have Colress's Tenacity to search for the stadium and get basic energy or like special energy, like ignition energies or whatever you might need. This is going to be like an auto 4 of pretty much like 4 Colress, 4 Lily. Colress basically turns into a battle VIP pass for your Pokemon thanks to the stadium, and it gets you the energy that you need to attack with either Relicanth or some other Pokemon I'll talk about in a bit. Now we have Rampardos EX. This card is actually really not that good in my opinion. I don't think this will see very much play at all in these fossil decks because it has 330 HP. It's a stage 2, meaning it's a little automatically kind of inconsistent, right? Its ability isn't bad, but like if this is going to be your main attacker, you could want some. You could want. It leaves a lot to be desired. Ability destructive headbutt. During your turn, once during your turn, if it's in the active spot, flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy from the opponent's active Pokemon. This just isn't like an incredible ability on paper. It can combo with stuff that I'll talk about in a second. It definitely can combo, but I think I think like initially this ability like leaves a bit to be desired because you're discarding energy from the opponent. Yeah. Okay. I have to talk about the Bastiodon in a sec. This ability isn't terrible, but I feel like it's just too clunky to work as a main attacker because it only does 150 damage for 2 fighting energy, which is a bit of an awkward energy cost as well. And you do only 150 during your next turn. Attacks used by this Pokemon deal 150 more to the opponent's active. First of all, your Monkey Dory, like Monkey Dory just farms you because you're just hitting for 150. You're just getting a double Adrena Brain that KOs one of your fossils. Then Dragapult hits this, KOs another fossil. Like it just doesn't feel great to like not one hit KO something with this attack. Doing 150 is pitiful. And the next turn, if you this effect goes away if your opponent plays a Boss's Orders. Basically, Boss's Orders and like Monkey Dory, this card just doesn't seem very strong because it's weak to like the best cards in the game. Like it's just so weak to them. Speaking of something that isn't actually that weak to the best cards in the game, though. Okay, not speaking of that because Bastiodon kind of sucks. Or not Bastiodon, Rampardos kind of sucks. We have Bastiodon. Okay, this card is actually pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. I really like this card. So 160 HP, Metal, Evolution. You can Genesect for it. Not that you necessarily would, because Genesect is like, I don't want to say, I don't know. In these type of decks, you kind of want to be starting like a specific Pokemon, right? Because you're playing fossils. So you'd either want to like almost always start Relicanth, always start Cinderace, or like something else that I'll talk about. There's another combo with this. Ability Ancient Bulwark. This is an incredible ability. Allow this Pokemon's on your bench. Prevent all damage done to all of your Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 2 or fewer energy attached. This is crazy. This is like really, really good. You do need... Okay, listen. You need 2 of these in play, for sure. And it has a 4 retreat cost. However, there are ways around this. Bastiodon, it has 4 retreat, right? That if it gets bossed up, it is weak to boss, because if it gets bossed up, the opponent gets around your ability if you only have 1 in play, and they also get to trap it in the active spot, so they could like snipe around it with something like, I don't know, like a Wellspring Ogerpon. They could hit this and then snipe the bench and you can't switch, whatever, right? But there's so much energy denial in Standard right now that I think you could actually just make this work, like, not even that bad. There's LGM. LGM with this card doesn't seem terrible because against decks that don't have energy acceleration built in, Slight Shift can just prevent your opponent from attacking, like, ever. Like, they just do no damage to you ever. Because if a deck doesn't play Energy Excel... then Slight Shift, if they have no energy on their Pokemon, you can just Slight Shift all their energy to like a Mon they have on their bench that can't attack, or you can move it to a Pokemon that does very little damage that you kind of want attacking in that situation. Slight Shift with that doesn't seem terrible. Obviously, it's like not a perfect combo because LGM's like it's very frail as well. It'll die in the early game. Starting it is very good, which is good with fossils, but I think the bigger combo with this is you can play the Bastiodon. You could play Rampardos and use the ability. Speaking of the ability, actually, Rampardos' ability is not the worst thing you could ever play because of Yveltal and Pecharunt. These 2 cards, I'm going to pull up side by side here. Pecharunt EX, Yveltal. These 2 cards can basically, first of all, they fix all of your mobility problems. The Yveltal is a free retreater you can start. It's great to start this card. Like, you never are sad to start Yveltal in any deck you play it in. And Clutch is not a bad attack. I mean, obviously, it's very strong. Petra can poison your Yveltal. You can use Clutch, and then if you have a Monkey Dory and a Dark attach, you can basically 20/20 snipe while retreat locking. This combo is so strong. It's won internationals. It's just an incredible, like, it's one of the most broken combos, like, in Standard, really. Especially now that Professor Turo and Jet Energy are gone. Yveltal and Petra not only solve the mobility problems of Bastiodon being a 4 retreat Pokemon, which there's no way to get out of. It'll also resist grass. So let's say a Dragon Pool player bosses up Bastiodon and Badoos you. If your only outs to it are manual, like item-based switching cards, you're just going to lose because you can never retreat. But, yeah, Petra, like, Yveltal, you can starting the Yveltal is good. In these fossil decks, you're going to start either Petch or Yveltal. You're fine starting either one, though, because Petch can easily just use this ability to get into Yveltal and then free retreat. Or if you start Yveltal, you can just retreat, right? That seems not that bad. These two cards, like a 1 Petch, maybe 2 Yveltal, or a 2/2 split, just to, like, solve your mobility problems. Like, your mobility is good, and Yveltal is not a bad card on its own. You can play maybe 1 Monkey Dory alongside this, and then you can get Clutch and the Monkey Dory for that, like, incredible poison yourself, Monkey Dory, the damage over, Clutch again, poison yourself, repeat. You can get that combo going with this deck as well. It gives you more options, more agency. This ability, though, again, how are we setting this up? You have Genesect EX, we have Pokepad. Those are two great, like, cards to think about. But I'm not entirely, like, sold on it yet. I think, like, this card definitely has a lot of potential because the ability is so strong. Like, preventing all damage, like, done to your Pokemon in general is just good. Think about how good, like, Crustle and, like, all these wall decks are right now, right? And they're only good because they don't take damage from the most popular attackers in the game. So if the most popular attackers in the game all take 2 or fewer energy to attack, then Bastiodon kind of just walls most of these Pokemon out. The Rampardos, I mean, probably benefits from this ability. I don't think you would ever really play Rampardos with, like, Bastiodon, though, because, again, your mobility is just such a massive, like, flaw. But, I mean, I think the Bastiodon has way higher potential than, like, the Rampardos, because it's more splashable, right? You can play this in, I don't know, a stall or control deck, maybe. You could play the, like, literally, you could build, like, a stall deck with Bastiodon where you use, like, LGM and, like, Crushing Hammers or whatever, bro, or, like, you have Yveltal as an option. You could just build, like, some weird, like, wall, like, stall kind of deck with, like, Bastiodon. I think this card has some potential for sure. I don't want to say it's, like, the best card ever, but it's not terrible. And the Shieldon, discard an energy from what your opponent's active Pokemon, that's not terrible. Like, you know, maybe you end up having to attack with the Shieldon in this type of deck, and you can just, like, discard energy. That doesn't seem terrible. And, okay, so these are just the regular fossils here. That's basically all I wanted to cover for the Bastiodon. There is more I want to talk about, though, after I'm done with these fossils. Antique Skull Fossil, this evolves into Rampardos, or Cranidos, then Rampardos. All the fossils have an ability as, like, an extra bonus, right? They all have 60 HP and an ability. Skull Fossil says that if it's in the active spot and damage, you put 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. This is big. This is actually really big because one of the main... So basically, the reason fossils haven't been good for the last, like, year is because of Badoo, right? Badoo, it said it prevents you from playing item cards from your hand. All fossils are item cards, so if you get Badooed, you can never bench your Pokemon. That's pretty bad, obviously. So to fix that, I think that this, if you start this or get into this early, first of all, we also have Fossil Excavation Site, which gets you your Pokemon through a Badoo lock. But also, Skull Fossil just knocks out your opponent's Badoo if they ever attack with the Badoo. So it can either give you a free prize card and let you attack that same turn if they Badoo you to try to slow you down. Or it could also just, like, prevent your opponent from Badooing you in the first place because they don't want to give you the prize. And that lets you, like, play rare candies, and it lets you bench more Pokemon. I feel like this is just a nice ability to have for fossil decks specifically because of how weak they are to Badoo. Antique Shield Fossil, not as, like, stellar. Its ability, Armor Protection, says that all of your Pokemon take 10 less damage if it's in the active spot. But if it's in the active spot, the most likely Pokemon that's going to be knocked out is this Pokemon. So I don't feel like this is incredibly, like, relevant. You know what I mean? Like, it could come up. Don't get me wrong. It could come up. But, like, I don't think this is really, like, a great ability. Like, compared to the other fossil abilities. Like, I'd rather the Skull fossil ability all day because it KOs Badoo, right? So those are all the new, like, fossil Pokemon. Relicanth, I think this is, if you're playing a fossil deck, you're going to play at least, like, 1, maybe 2 Relicanth. I'd say 2, because, like, this ability is pretty good. The Rampardos, I think, is a bit clunky. I don't think it has all of the support it might, want. I think Pecharunt Eviltal is actually pretty good with the ability, because you can, let's say one of your Pokemon gets knocked out, right? You send up one of your Rampardos, use the ability, use Pecharunt to get into Eviltal, retreat into your other Rampardos, use the second ability, and then start attacking. So, like, that doesn't seem atrocious, you know? Like, you can play the game, but, I don't know. Maybe in some stall deck. I think these cards actually just look like they're made for, like, stall decks, especially the Bastiodon. I think this has potential for sure, because we have extra consistency with Genesect. We have a lot of energy denial cards in the format, like Elgium. We have insane mobility, flexibility with Pecharunt Eviltal. Eviltal and Pecharunt are just strong cards on their own. They fix your mobility problems, give you more options, and it also plays into a stall style approach because Eviltal is a very good retreat lock attacker. So I feel like in some stall deck that maybe crops up in the future, you know, in the distant future, the Bastiodon has hope. The other fossil Pokemon, though, and the support is really what I want to talk about for this last section of the video. Cinderace for Mega Evolution is an obvious card that you might want to pair with the fossil Pokemon. So, obviously, you cannot start a fossil Pokemon, and you can't start a Stage 2 unless it's Cinderace because of its ability Explosiveness, meaning that if it's in your opening hand, you can start it. So, in theory, if you play a deck with only fossils and only Cinderace, you will always start Cinderace, which is good for a few reasons. First of all, your active Pokemon has 160 HP. That's just like a nice number to have on effectively a basic, like, single prize Pokemon. And its attack for any energy, 1 colorless, 50 damage, get 3 energy out of the deck, get them onto your bench Pokemon. That helps set up your Rampardos for its awkward fighting energy, 2 fighting energy attack cost. It can help set up, like, anything, really. If you're playing Caracosta with the Tortuga, this Mighty Shell ability means it's immune to damage from Pokemon that have special energy attached. That's not terrible, you know? So you can kind of build, again, like a stall deck, because this thing can wall out certain decks or whatever. I don't want to say it's necessarily a stall deck, because I feel like that's kind of boring for, like, this massive buff for, like, all fossils. But I really think, like, if these cards see play, it'll probably be more so because of, like, disruptive capabilities, and not like how fossils were in the past, where that old Rampardos deck was just an O-coat. Like, it was just an attacking deck. You just used weakness and your second attacks to just one-shot everything. This is not going to be a one-shotting deck, like, ever, because this thing does no damage. And none of your Pokemon, like, do that much damage. Except, like, the Relicanth is literally doing more than the Rampardos, bro. Like, this thing's not here for the damage. It's here for the ability. I think, yeah, in some sort of, you know, stall deck, right? You could play, like, Elgiums and Cinderace or what. No, I think you just play Elgium, like, Pecharunt, Eviltal, and, like, maybe a 2-2 Rampardos and, like, a 2-2 Bastiodon. Or, like, a 3... You might want 3 Bastiodon, actually, because prizing one means that a boss turns off its ability. But, I don't know. I think these cards have a lot of potential, the fossils. But this stadium, man, this is, like, so massive for all fossils right now and in the future. If they do reprints of fossil Pokemon, like, I don't know, Dracovish, or, like, all the like, fish fossils, those will all benefit from this a lot. Like, the Dracovish, Arctovish, Dracozolt, Arctozolt, all those would benefit from this so much if they give Antique to the name, because then they're all stage 1s. Like, they instantly just evolve, so you can basically get them out and then evolve instantly next turn. They're not like stage 2s like the Bastiodon, right? That's basically all I wanted to talk about here. These are some pretty cool cards on the whole. Like, I don't really have that much else to say. They're just really, really cool. I think they have potential too. They're not just, like, you know, look good cards or, like, all theory. Like, I think there's something here. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.